So today I want us to talk about John Steenhuisen, the leader of the Democratic Alliance. I think this is the end for him. Or he better pray to God that he is spared. So let's get right into it. Why am I saying this is the end for John Steenhuisen? I feel like the walls are closing down on him very, very, very quickly, especially after the elections that we've just had, which were bad for everybody. Also, especially after the deal that they have with the ANC, everything is going south. I just feel like his leadership skills in general are being tested. And also, I just feel like this is probably the worst time for him to be the leader. This is the worst period or the worst time. All right, just in general, never mind what I'm about to unpack, just in general. And I was listening to Mike, this guy Mike likes the DA a lot. He always talks positive. He always trashes other people. But this other day, he made an episode where he started to talk about who's the deputy president of the DA. Why is there no deputy leader? Why is John Steenhuisen not grooming anybody to be their deputy? Come on, there is no clear plan of succession of who's going to take over John Steenhuisen. So he says that it seems like he's not grooming anybody to take over. But I feel like I don't want to blame that on Steenhuisen, because I think when he took over and he joined the DA, that's how things were done. So I don't want to blame him. I feel like if Helen wanted the DA to have a deputy or whatever, they would make it happen. The fact that Kungago deputy president, it's not John Steenhuisen's fault. As much as we want to fault him for everything, but I don't think that one lies on him alone. Anyway, yeah, forget about everything that I just said now. This is the main purpose of the video, what I'm about to say. So as you know, that John Steenhuisen hired underqualified people. I hired people that didn't have the required experience, right? And the EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters, Usnawo Tambo, Member of Parliament, has filed a case against the leader of the Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen. All right? And which is what the DA, by the way, has been fighting for a very long time. One thing that the DA has been criticizing about the ANC, catered deployment, that the ANC, they hire people that are not qualified or don't have the necessary experience. The ANC they hire their friends. They don't hire people that are competent enough for the role. That's what the DA has been preaching for a very, very, very long time. That's one thing that they've been complaining for. And John Steenhuisen goes ahead and he does exactly the same thing. And he is the leader. That's why they say that when you are not in the field, you talk a lot. Yeah, but you feel like, hey, I was going to do this and this and this and this. But once they take you and they put you inside, then you realize, it's not as easy as I thought it was. That's what's happening for John Steenhuisen. Now I also understand why the DA hates the EFF. I get it. The EFF has got this will and strong character that they will hold them to account. And one thing I like about the EFF is that they don't just hold you by account, ngomlomo, but they will take you to the trenches. They're going to bring the evidence. Yeah, but because Snawa just had an interview now with I think News Africa. I'm going to attach some of the clips here. I'm just doing an intro. And then he was asking Gukuti, but the ANC complained about this 3 weeks ago or something, or few months ago. And then Snawa says that, yes, but they didn't do anything about it. Yeah, they didn't do anything about it. They just complained on the media. Remember, the ANC cannot hold the DA to account as much maybe as they would want to, because if they hold them to account, the DA will also bring them down. Remember, Cyril Ramaphosa also has a pending case. So it's like I can criticize you, but I can't go far, because Galoku, if I go far, now you might go, I might be in trouble as well. So they can't hold each other accountable. So now that's where the EFF has gotten an opportunity to take the DA to the trenches, and not just in jail, but legally so. And I was listening to now, I'm going to attach this video here where he says that we are hoping that he is removed as the member of parliament. And I'm thinking to myself, if he gets removed as the member of parliament, will he survive? I don't think so. I don't think he will survive, because one thing about the DA, immediately that case starts going viral and evidence, Snawa says they've submitted some evidence, that case starts being entertained, and the DA sees that, okay, fine, the publicity is not good, they are going to drop Steenhuisen. That's one thing the DA does. They are going to drop Steenhuisen and they are going to leave him out in the cold. I promise you. That's one thing about the Democratic Alliance, right? So, Snow posted something which I want us to read. I'm going to attach the videos here, but I just want to read this for you. Firstly, he said, Annette Stein is one of the 4 underqualified DA members who has been representing the South African government in interactions with society as a special advisor to Steenhuisen. Steenhuisen would later request a deviation to appoint her, whereas she has already been working as a government representative for months. Okay. Oh, another thing that was making Snow angry is that John Steenhuisen was asked. They asked him, Uguti, did you do cater deployment here? Are these people that you hired underqualified? They asked him in parliament, and John Steenhuisen said, no, that's not it, no. So now Snow is saying, I've got him on record, he lied. And now we are bringing evidence. Yeah, man? So there's a lot of evidence closing in on Steenhuisen. That's why I'm saying, Ubana, I don't think he's going to survive. And one thing I like about the EFF doesn't take a case they know they're not going to win. When they go after you and they take a case, it's because they know that they've got enough evidence. Yeah, but they don't entertain izinto that are not going to end anywhere.
So except for this directive that has been now in place since, I think, if not July, or maybe a little bit earlier than that.
April, yeah.
Yeah. It's always been, up until this point, the prerogative of ministers and deputy ministers to appoint people to their office. It seems if they are not holding a senior position, they may be allowed to be in that office.
It shouldn't be. So the provisions that have been put in place since April 2024, if I'm not mistaken, were put there because we need to professionalize the state. So for too long, and ironically, the DA has been the most hypocritical advocate of this. Cadre deployment that lacks meritocracy, lacks qualification and quality has been at the forefront of deployment into the bureaucracy of the South African government and state. So people have been selected on the basis of the loyalty to their principles at a political level. So in order to professionalize services, professionalize departments in South Africa to ensure there's efficiency and quality of services, there's been these regulations that have been put into place. And the DA, which has been dragging the ANC hither and thither for cadre deployment, has been in support of this professionalization. But now that they occupy seats of power, they are practicing cadre deployment, and the shallowest, crudest, most disgusting type of it, where they appoint individuals. A person who was a member of parliament of the DA who's out of a job is made a special advisor even though she doesn't qualify. She's presented as an expert on agriculture. If she's an expert on agriculture, why is she not operating in that sector at a technical level? What technical advice can she give to the transformation of agricultural sector and land reform in South Africa when she doesn't even have a post-matric qualification? So these types of people are cadre deployment in its crudest form, which is perpetuated by the DA. So those stipulations And the removal of that prerogative for ministers to appoint whoever they like was to professionalize the state. And the DA is deprofessionalizing the state and promoting white mediocrity at the behest of a white mediocre John Steenhuisen. So I think we're also being unfair on John Steenhuisen to expect him to appoint people who have more qualifications than him. Perhaps his ego is too small, perhaps his mind is too fragile, and he fears being outshined by appointing people who hold post-matric qualifications, who are going to show that they're more competent to be a minister than he is. That's why he's appointing people who are his peers in terms of education and thinking.
Yeah. Since the ANC study group had raised this a month ago, Sharon Davids criticizing Steenhuisen for recommending individuals lacking qualifications and relevant experience. Why do you think that nothing was done about it?
Look, I don't think the ANC has got the moral or ethical fortitude to hold the Democratic Alliance accountable for anything. We've seen today how the Secretary General of the ANC operates on the instruction of Helen Zille. So while the DA is tearing them apart, are able to criticize their ministers like Thembi Simelane, criticize their premiers like Panyaza Lesufi, the ANC has been turned into a lapdog that is just compliant. I don't foresee us seeing an ANC that is able to confront the Democratic Alliance beyond mere posturing in interviews. Tomorrow there's going to be an election of a mayor in the city of Tshwane. Perhaps they'll try to redeem some level of moral or African history and tradition that they used to hold by defying the threat of Helen Zille. But the African National Congress doesn't have the capacity to follow through on holding the Democratic Alliance accountable because they're beholden to it. Without the Democratic Alliance, Cyril Ramaphosa would not be president. He'd be held accountable for Phala Farm. So they lack the moral fortitude to be able to stand up to the DA, which is why I think the EFF is the one that's been able to bring this to the fore in a much stronger manner.
With regards to this, now you're saying in 7 days he needs to respond to the Ethics Committee. What is it that he needs to present to the Ethics Committee?
He must counter the evidence that we have submitted and are still going to submit to the Registrar of the Ethics Committee, which shows a track record of individuals being recognized as staff. Annette Steyn, number one, recognized as a special advisor on platforms that relate to agricultural transformation, reform and production, on platforms where she's been visiting alongside other DA ministers and being referred to as a special advisor, on platforms where farmers, the person called Vessel, there's a publication where he says that he's happy that Annette Steyn has been appointed as a special advisor as well. So there's various and numerous stakeholders in South Africa that can and have confirmed that Annette Steyn, an underqualified individual, is appointed as a special advisor of Steenhuisen. Roman Kaepernick is still a chief of staff, even though we have no idea whether he's qualified or not. We have no idea whether he's doing any work or not because he's been asked to resign, but he's making a 6-figure salary as we sit here. And the other 4 individuals, one of whom is a spokesperson of John Steenhuisen of the Democratic Alliance, whom we were trying to appoint as well. We will find that he has been having access to the records and the Department of Agriculture's classified information in order to boost Steenhuisen's communications output as a minister. So a lot is still going to be uncovered, but of course, when we refer a matter to the Ethics Committee, it will also have an investigative capacity and a capacity to summon individuals to confirm or deny whether they've been part and parcel of this nefarious scheme of Steenhuisen of jobs for pals and cadre deployment. So the process is going to be ongoing. We're not going to relent. And his lack of understanding of the seriousness of this situation is going to be his own downfall.
A violation of this nature of the Code of Ethics and Constitution, you say. What could possibly be the result of that?
Look, unfortunately, the ethics, the sanctions of the Ethics Committee can be rather slap on the wrist. It could be fined, it could be asked to apologize to the people of South Africa, but we are going to seek the harshest of sanctions, which is the removal as a minister and possibly loss of seat as a member of parliament as well. We've already called on Cyril Ramaphosa. If he has any backbone and has an ability to stand up to the Democratic Alliance, which has been telling him who to put where and who to remove as they please, to remove him as a Minister of Agriculture. There's no value that he's adding in that department. He's only brought scandal since his appointment. He appointed a right-wing podcaster who's a racist and a homophobe. He's been trying to appoint underqualified people. The most out of all of the requests for deviation came from him, and they are all members of the DA who have worked for the DA in some capacity in the past. So there's nothing he's brought to this department besides disrepute. So we've asked Ramaphosa to stand up for himself, stand up for the Constitution of South Africa and remove him. If he fails to do so, we'll pursue that process through the Ethics Committee, and that is a sanction that is part and parcel of those provisions And he's broken enough provisions for that to be possible and applicable. And we'll see how far we can go with that. And we'll see whether this so-called government of national unity will prioritize cadre deployment of John Steenhuisen or the Constitution of South Africa.
Now, Tambo, appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Anyway, so Italand on Tuesday, Steenhuisen said Steen has been helping him find his feet in the department and had hit the ground running. I've taken on Annette Steen, which is Steenhuisen, as my special advisor. She has been working at no charge since my appointment and has been an invaluable asset in introducing me to her network in the agriculture sector. Gleaned from her decade of service as an MP on the Agriculture Portfolio Committee, he said, she knows the sector and is widely respected as a farmer herself, understands what needs to be done. So Steenhuisen, we are explaining Abubana, he has taken Annette as his special advisor because she has been in the agriculture portfolio and she's a farmer. But the question is she qualified to be doing the job? And the answer is no. So it's a question, uhaya ngabuni? Why am special advisor? Ngabuni? Everyone? And the DA has always preached you got people that don't have experience, who don't have and another thing, akana metric. I think when you have accent, akana metric. Hey, I can go. It's the same thing that they've preaching. They have been preaching for long. People must be qualified for the positions they are filling. Wara, we need people that have got high quality of education. But the question is, why does that not apply when it comes to you? So that applies only now when we are talking about the ANC, but not when we are talking about the DA. So someone said the Free State farmer, a Free State farmer, Tiwi Vessel said, one of the biggest mistakes made by the previous minister and the ANC still makes was being out of touch with what happens on the ground. They are out of touch and grow up all things. They draw up all these plans, but don't talk about the farmers. They don't ask us what we need. Yeah, so Italy farmer bana, the biggest mistake of the ANC is that they never talked to the people that are on the ground to ask them, what do you need? How do you improve your working conditions? How do we make it better for you? So what they did is they just made all these fancy plans that doesn't necessarily benefit the people. Vessel said Steenhuisen should tour the country and talk to the farmers of the different regions and then start planning. Vessel said it was good that Steenhuisen has Annette Steen as his official advisor who also farms, but he needs to come and speak to us. That's from another white farmer, Kengo. So let me attach for you the...
My name is now Tambo, a member of the Parliament of South Africa representing the EFF. Today we have officially laid a complaint with the Ethics Registrar of the Ethics Committee against the Minister of Agriculture, John Steenhuisen, for lying to Parliament and by extension the people of South Africa in his response to a question for written reply. When we asked him whether he had deviated from the normal appointment processes when he appointed staff and advisors in his office since his tenure has began, John Steenhuisen responded in the negative to this question, and when he did so, he lied to Parliament and by extension again the people of South Africa, because it is public knowledge that he appointed Annette Steen and 3 other DA colleagues of his to his office without having received the necessary approval from the Minister of Public Services and Administration. And these employees have been seeking salaries for 3 months because they were appointed before deviation was sought. This means that in his reply to the question posed to him, John Steenhuisen lied and he violated Section 3 of the principles of the Code of Ethics, which govern members and members of the executive as well. So we have laid this complaint, and John Steenhuisen will have 7 days to respond to the complaint laid against him. And we have made the declaration that he has violated his oath of office and should also be removed for that violation of the Code of Ethics and the Constitution of South Africa. The EFF will continue to hold the so-called Government of National Unity accountable, because we do not take instructions from the Democratic Alliance or any of its handlers, but we take our instructions from the people of South Africa. Thank you very much.
Let's just see how it plays out. Let's see how it plays out, guys. I feel like this is the end for John Steenhuisen. Things are not looking good for him at all. They are not looking good for him at all. Anyway, guys, if you are seeing me for the first time, my name is Zizipolo Belwane. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes in my channel. Thank you for watching my videos. Please subscribe for me. Subscribing is free of charge. So you click the button that says or the icon that says subscribe, you become a member of this channel, so that my videos can get out to more people, or a wider audience rather. Thank you so much if you are a returning subscriber. I appreciate you guys so much. You are the people that motivate me to keep making more videos. Let me know what you think is gonna happen to John Steenhuisen. Is this the end, or do you think maybe I am taking it too far, or is this truly the end for him? He can kiss and say goodbye. What do you guys think? Let's meet in the comment section. I enjoy to hear what you guys think. Aluta continua. And do you think the EFF is doing a good job? The EFF is criticized so much that I feel like even when they do good things, we don't bring them to people's attention. People never know what the EFF does, the good things, because all the agenda that's pushed is negative. And I do understand why the DA despises the EFF so much. Now I get it. I get it. The EFF is that one party that is not afraid of them, unfortunately. Anyway, let's meet in the comment section, guys. Aluta continua. The struggle continues. Please, before this video ends, at the bottom of my video, there is a thank you sign with the $. Please buy me coffee for always bringing you guys content. Guys, please buy me coffee. And because I deserve it. I deserve it. Peace out, guys.